Hi everyone, I am Rebecca from ChemKnits, and welcome to the behind the scenes vlog for the 2026 Spring Mini Skein mini-series. I forgot that I did not film an intro yet, so here I am sitting down to edit the vlog and filming an intro. In this vlog, I will take you behind the scenes as I'm working on yarn, thinking about colorways, making extras. I don't know what kind of footage I have for you, but we'll find that out together. And editing, Rebecca will pop back in as needed to provide more context. But before we jump in, there is still some SMSMS yarn left in the ChemKnits Creations Etsy shop. There are mini skein sets that will come in the complete bundle that are ready to ship. And there are some pre-orders, sock blanks from night 4, plus the bonus mermaid yarn, those gorgeous full skeins that you saw last night for the first time. But now let's go back in time to, I don't know when the first clip is, March or April. I just got an order. Ooh. Are these the stickers? I also have charms. Ooh, so many. Okay. I need 2 hands. I don't know if these, so pretty. I don't know if these are the ones for this series, so I might be like blurring it out, but oh, it is awesome. I pulled the stickers out and went, holy cracks, they were bigger than I thought. Oh, that's so cute. I mean, this one has like a little bit of extra paper up there. They're bigger than I thought, but still fun. And you can really see that watercolor detail in. That isn't like a digital after effect. That is my art that I put behind my logo. Oh, that's so fun. I wonder if I could have manipulated it to curve, but I don't care. I love it. These stickers are a lot bigger than what I normally order, which honestly isn't a bad thing. While we're looking at stuff that I've ordered, now the bags are a little bit thin, so I am going to need to wrap the yarn in tissue paper. But this is one design where I could have cut and done this in black, but it would have been hard for me to do it myself in vinyl and cut it. So I had this printed and I'm really, really happy with them. Like for whenever I include my yarn ball from my logo, I always try to do this kind of version where if you can imagine that the white on this was the vinyl, that I would peel away everything that is the tan colored, leaving the dark brown behind. That is way easier to do. I can peel off what's in the center sort of in one go than if I wanted to do the reverse and peel away the dark brown. Then I have to do each of those lines individually, which gets a little bit complicated. And so it's something that I'm happy to do if I'm doing like 10, not if I'm doing 100. And so that is something that I take into consideration when I'm planning things out. This is our prototype from option B, I guess the color mixing video. And I really had to debate whether or not I wanted to go with like another horizontal set or if I wanted to go with a vertical set when I scale this up. Now, I happened to use 5 different types of mini skeins on this versus using one yarn base. So some of the differences we see in here could be because of the yarn base. But I wanted to point out that here's the vertical that was mostly teal. We do see a bit of a shift in the hue once we get down there, but otherwise adding the blue doesn't do as much. If we look at our blues, which it's funny, I see a difference in person between those 3. I think on camera it's not really showing up. Ultimately, I was deciding between this row here and this row there. And I think I want to go with the vertical, which is not a way I've ever done it before. I've never flipped the script and arranged minis in a way that was different for like a prototype and the finale. I suppose I also could have gone for the diagonal. The diagonal has a pretty good blend between the colors, but my vision had the hues shifting as the saturation increased. And I think that keeping the teal the green constant while shifting the blue is going to give me the result that I wanted. And once again, I do not recommend using a different yarn base, 4 different yarn bases for doing color mixing, because you really want to use the same one to get the best understanding of the colors. But I think that for this grid, I'm really glad I went with rows instead of columns, because that teal one at the end isn't as dramatic as some of the rest. But anyway, now I just have to go and dye it. Well, first I should do the math, then I'll dye it. I think if I was going to do this combination again for like a scarf or something, I might decrease the green by 50% or double the blue across the board. I mean, I do like how dark the darkest ones are, but I would want to like increase the proportion of the blue. Let's sort this yarn for our next round. Let's see, we've got some neon neps, that yak and zebra. This is the mermaid sparkle. Oh, the other one had neps had sparkle. This is platinum DK. This is platinum sock. And then I have some crazy 8 DK and a silver sparkle. Now, these are all yarn bases I know really, really well. So I can make bundles and be able to tell them apart. Thankfully. This isn't the case. There's some yarns, like if I was having a cashmere yarn, that is one that can be harder to tell the difference. Yeah, I think that it's mostly just that. There are a couple other 2-ply yarns that can then be hard to tell the difference from. But because I'm dyeing these twisted, I can't do my, okay, I'm going to partition them in groups of 5 and have it set up in a way so that way I know what is in each bundle really easily. And that has worked so well for me in the past. But, you know, some of them are like incredibly obvious. Like these ones are going to be super, super obvious that I have everything set up right. And hopefully I do this correctly. I have messed up in the past and dyed like 2 in one colorway before. So that is something that I've done, but I haven't messed up an entire batch. So I'm optimistic. Hee hee. And I think each bundle will get 2 of these. Now, the thing about this that's a little bit trickier for me is because it's just because I'm not putting them on zip ties, right? Okay. But I want to make sure that I keep them separate now. So I'm going to bring over some of these zip ties again and just secure the bundles. So this way I know once I have my dye bath ready to go, I can dye the first 2, easy peasy, no problem. And by setting it all up in advance, that is also something that will help. Like I do this for Hanukkah too. I will pre-partition the yarn for all the nights I'm going to be dyeing, because then it makes it easy for me to say, okay, I have enough yarn. It makes it easy for me to say, okay, how many more yarn mops do I need to do, and things like that. It's sort of like a to-do list that I can check off along the way. Why did I decide to make this double resist blank? Ooh, look at them. Look at the tonal variation that we have in here from the way it was folded. I haven't filmed the conclusions for this yet. Oh my gosh. But why did I make this its own standalone video? I could have just kept it a 1-minute time lapse in the other video, but I thought the effect of this resist dyeing a sock blank was so unbelievably cool that it deserved a standalone video, because that's one thing that I don't always do. Sometimes projects I do sort of stay within like Hanukkah or SMSMS and then don't get as much traction as being a regular video. And so I thought I want to do this again. And then I was like, I need to do this again. Like now, why not do both? Film it with the real-time talking so that way it could be a standalone video, and then do the other as well. Because if you remember last year, I talked about, and I still might go back and do it, but I talked about doing a video of dyeing sock blanks versus mini skeins and just having like a full video and showing all those examples that I showed in the videos. I haven't done anything with that yet. I haven't edited or done anything. So that might still happen, but might not. And yeah, I think some of the coolest sock blanks I've ever created are things that I've created around this series. So I double dipped. Hopefully no one's mad about that because this is so cool. I mean, like, this would be really cool on like a scarf or something too, that you weren't gonna unravel. Oh man. It's too bad we couldn't really do a third stripe in here, because if I try to do one more, I think that there would be a ton of resist in the black sections. And this may not make it into either of the main videos, but I know that there was more resist here because when I removed the blanks from the dye mop, there was more dye left behind, and that yarn mop was darker than the yarn mop I did from the other set. So that's how I know. After all that being careful, I'm literally washing this right now, and I found a mini on the floor, which means that one of my sets only had 9. Hopefully it fell out of the very last one, so we have a set of 4. And then our sets of 5. I mean, this is an oops set. I'll be able to sell an 80-gram set of 4 skeins, not with the whole SMSMS kit and caboodle necessarily. Although I could list an oops, and maybe I'll do that. But I can't believe it. I am so glad I found the mini now versus when the yarn is dry and I have to sort everything and figure that all out. But it's really disappointing when I make a mistake like this. And that's one of the troubles of doing twisted skeins and stuff. Clearly, you know, when I was paying attention to filming and everything, one just fell and I didn't notice. Today's been a day. I think it might have been our darkest color, so that very last batch. But oh my gosh, that mermaid sparkle and the neon neps, it's just so fun. I mean, the silver sparkle on here is really, really good also, but that mermaid, I'm obsessed. Okay, remember when yesterday I found that mini skein and I was like, oh, I can't like re-dye it? Of course I can. I have the recipe. I know which one it is. I can just take that info and set up a dye bath with 8 cups of water, like 2 tablespoons of white vinegar, and dye the one mini skein. I am not locked in to having that set of 4. I can fix it and cut this out of that video entirely, which has me really happy. And I found out it is the darkest one I counted. There's 9 there, which makes sense. I would have seen it on the floor if I had done it before then. But yeah, unlike other circumstances when maybe if it was like an immersion speckles or something and it would have been trickier to dye just one, I've got dye stocks. Like, I don't even have to mix up new dyes, right? So let's go do it. Got our hot dye bath. Let's add it in. Oh, it sunk right in. Awesome. I thought that I was going to need to push it down, so I had a spoon ready. Now I just need to wait for 30 minutes. And this is the ratio I used with the exact same dye stocks that I made yesterday. I can't believe I was like, oh, I'm not going to do this now. Because I'm like, oh, if I was going to do a whole other set of 10 in this colorway. And depending on pre-sales, like so far from night A, there's 10, but I'm going to do another batch of night A, the neon pops. For night B, I have 15 total. For night C, I have 12 planned, and then D, I don't know. But if I need to dye more of this, I can. So it would have been easy for me to adjust and add this in later on. This is one that I can definitely dye up more, and I might, but I try, like sometimes there's one night when there's not very many colorways. And so I don't know, I try to have like a bit of a balance as I'm setting things up. but I don't even know what I'm going to do for D yet. For C, I'm going to do the Connected Mini Skeins dip dyeing in a sunset colorway. I am super excited about that. And then for the bonus, I keep debating, because initially I'm like, mermaid yarn, I want to go full on to a mermaid colorway. But then I was like, ooh, but sunset. So I don't know. I think I love the combination of this blue and green so much at the higher depths of shade that I might do twisted skeins in a pan. So rather than full twisted and full immersion, have it twisted, layer the colors on top and do it that way. And then maybe also bring in a purple and then a bright blue. I might go that way and go full on like mermaid vibes with that sparkle. I think it would be incredible. So that's what I'm considering. But I did just do twisted skeins for Valentine's Day, and I don't know if it's too repetitive for me to do something similar. But there is a difference between twisted skeins, like what I have in the pot right now on a full skein, and when I have it lengthwise in a pan, twisted or untwisted, and layer the colors on that way. So we'll see. But yeah, and I'm trying to use more of these Paradise Fibers acid dyes because I have so much of them, right? It's a material, a tool, and they also happen to be the colors that I'm wanting to use for my projects. So therefore that's a win-win. But anyway, I hope that, because initially I was like, ooh, I'm going to do like teal and blue and do like some kind of tonal. But that's kind of what I did for this color mixture anyway. But I love some of the hues in there. So my brain's all over the place. But anyway, I'm probably not going to show more of this lone mini, but when I remove it, I will let it cool. I'll wash it and hang it up to dry with everything else. And so in the video, you may not be any the wiser because I'm planning on cutting the, oh no, I found this clip. And so, yeah, saving that for the vlog. And now this mistake can dry with the rest. That Rogue Blue skein has more white in it than the rest of the yarn. I mean, is this the mermaid sparkle? No, that's a silver sparkle. That one has some more light patches, but for whatever reason, that one didn't get as much like depth and coverage, but I think it's still going to go nicely with the rest of the yarn. So I think it's not a problem. Phew. I'm so glad I was able to make that work. I'm twisting the rainbow yarns right now. And I decided to do this by having that rainbow section in the middle. This gives an effect at the tip where you can see both of the colors that are present. Because I honestly didn't know how else to do it. Because I think if I rotated things in a different way, you could potentially lose the brights. So I think this works and I'm very happy. So just for example, okay, this is actually kind of cute, but I think that it would be hard to lay it out to see all the colors, and so I actually like the way I'm doing it, but that's actually not so bad. But it would, if I had it staggered, it would be in a random position in every one, and you could have the skein laid out in a way where you really only see the one color, and it'll be easier to make sure I can see both colors the other way I've done it. So, gotta let this guy untwist. Cute, 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 cute. I planned things really well this year so that way I could have at least 2 blanks from each night, and therefore I could unravel one to show the blanks unraveled. I feel like my customers prefer intact blanks, at least that's the way more of them sell, but I really like to have them unraveled for the content. And so there's always a little bit of a push and pull there, but I'm really excited to get to show it. And here's just some little clips. I filmed everything. I will be making shorts eventually, but I do have to admit there's still some shorts I had ready to edit from 2025's SMSMS that I have not done yet. So I think moving forward, I need to have a day that is just, let's go and work on that archive of shorts I want to finish. But anyway, enjoy this montage of unraveling blanks. Time to start adding yarn labels. There are so many different ones. I'm glad that I have the letter. I need to make more zebra labels so I can add that after. But I like how these came out so much. It's so fun because I usually try to do a grid for the SMSMS of some kind of color mixing, but I wanted to just mix it up, and we have very much tonal yarns versus more semi-solid, and so I think that that's really, really exciting. Even though, okay, okay. I was just talking about this in a completely different video conclusions today, but I call semi-solids tonals sometimes as well, because sometimes there's some tonal variation. I might call it a semi-solid tonal if it's close to a solid. But in my opinion, all semi-solids can fall within the overall umbrella of tonals, but not all tonals are semi-solids. So that's just my opinion. I am obsessed. I am obsessed. This is skating rink, arcade, neon, awesomeness. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Like, this was a sock blank that was very simple, all black with a stripe down the middle, and unraveled into this 2 match 50-gram balls of yarn. I'm obsessed. Oh, it really is a skating rink carpet. This is so awesome. And you can see that we have some reverse speckles that are fluorescent too. I am obsessed. So clearly I'm gonna need to dye more of these sock blanks because, I mean, this is epic. I love the modeling in here. Obsessed, obsessed. When I unravel a knit sock blank, the yarn is very crimped, ramen noodle type texture. And I like to relax this crimp by just using a water soak. Usually I'll soak it for like 5 minutes or so, and I'm doing this one-handed, but even without me sort of snapping it, you can see that already some of that crimp is starting to relax. Helps if I actually get it wet. But really it just takes like a couple of seconds, and the weight of the water, I will probably snap the yarn with both hands, but the weight of the water doesn't make it all go away, but a lot of it will go away. All right, let me borrow my hand back for a sec. I didn't even really snap it. All I did was hold it in one hand and sort of run my hand down the other length. And you can see that that crimp has relaxed. It's going to dry and be a lot more manageable to work with. But there is still going to be like a slight wave to it. It's not going to get perfectly straight, but it'll be a lot easier to work with. And anyway, this is a colorway I am completely obsessed with, but I don't know. I always find this pretty satisfying. I'm currently planning out the labels for this year. And one thing, I mean, I don't have them lined up nicely. Okay, you kind of get the picture for what I'm going for. One of the labels will say the night that it is. The other label I will tape on will have the yarn base. And then I'm going to handwrite the date on. A lot of times I will then like plan the date on here all together, but not having any like writing on the popsicle tags themselves is going to give me a lot of flexibility. It means that I could use the popsicle tag for any night because it's completely customizable after the fact. And if I have extras, they aren't only tied to SMSMS. I could use them for gift tags for other things. And yeah, I like that it's giving me that extra flexibility. If I wasn't gonna want the 2 lines to be the grooves in the popsicle, then I would have gone ahead and written 2026 SMSMS night 1, 6/15/26 directly on there, but I can just handwrite it. It's not gonna be that many, and so yeah, I think it'll be good. These are looking way bigger than I really need them to be, but you know what? It's not a problem for it to be big. It'll be easy to tape on. One thing I have never explored with the Cricut is the print then cut. Because for some things like these labels, that would probably be way faster. Although I don't think my printer does well on cardstock. but I haven't tried in a long time, and I wonder if that was before I had this particular printer. I have a laser printer. Maybe if when I had an inkjet. I tried cardstock. Yeah, I think it was a really long time ago when I tried. I am hoping to ship things out this week, and we're really nearly ready. I have conclusions of one video left to film, but last week was Teacher Appreciation Week, which is like a Super Bowl for me, and so it's fine for today to be a little bit lighter and more easygoing. Ryder is helping me sort because the Cricut prints them in an old random order and makes it a pain to do. And someone is a really big helper, right?
Yep.
Were you also a big helper for Teacher Appreciation Week?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And so I appreciate that you help Mommy too. Thanks, kiddo. Now we assemble. I'm using one of these like tape pens. And then, I don't know if I can do this one-handed. This was not very smart of me. Hold on. And then I'll put it on here and on there. Oh my gosh. I'll be wrapping sets on demand, but I'm going to pre-make the labels. But then, of course, there are extras in case I need them. Yay. Seeing if I can do this. Oh, yeah, I can't, well, kind of do it one-handed. Hopefully they stay on okay. I had trouble with some of the glue in years past coming off. So I think that these kinds of tape sticks work pretty well. And like, it's not going anywhere. And then I'll write the little date up in the corner. Okay, I brought the tripod in so you could see me doing it. It's nothing groundbreaking, but it is a very nice system. And unlike glue, which we do use glue here sometimes, but with glue, then I need to wait to let things dry. And this way I didn't. And I'm really liking how these popsicles are turning out. Oh, and you'll note I accidentally put a night 3 on one of the night 4 popsicles. I removed it and I found that I can kind of rub off whatever this adhesive is. It gives me like rubber cement vibes. So I like that I could correct it, and then I still have, I mean, I might not be able to correct it if it has been connected for a while, but I still have the label that I could use if needed later on. In the end, I double counted this against my inventory and divided them into yarn bases. So we have all of the Crazy 8 here. Here we have all of the Platinum DK, etc. Because when I sort out our sets, I'm going to sort them by yarn base. And then I'll pop these popsicles into the container where I have the yarns because that makes the fulfillment part easy and allows me to make sure that I distribute the bases pretty evenly. I do this to try to maintain variety in the inventory, at least a little bit, because that way if I have an order come in that where someone wants 3 different sets, then maybe I can still have variety of different nights. So I try to mix it up a lot. I just want to make sure everyone gets a lot of variety whenever I can. And so I'm excited. Oh my goodness, that iridescent stellina looks so good on the pastel base. It makes it feel very opaly. I love it. I mean, it is awesome with saturated colors when you see those colors pop more. And I know I'm not picking up the sparkle, but the colors of the stellina in here, it's just so cool and different to watch that shift. Some of the sparkle, I think it can be hard to see it on camera sometimes, but it is really shimmery and sparkly, and I love it so much. I filmed a lot of me twisting these full skeins, but I don't think I have a voiceover for it. So now editing Rebecca is just filming this voiceover. Maybe I meant to include this in the actual video and then didn't, but enjoy this satisfying twisting montage. Here are all of the yarn mops that we dyed in the various nights. And they are pretty different from the mini skein sets from those same nights. I'm really happy with the progression that I settled on for the different colors. What's interesting to me right now is that all together, these are looking very solid. These look more variegated, which they are. They're very much a tonal. And then, of course, we have the variegated and just the pop of color here. I mean, this one has neps and sparkle, so it's a little bit lighter than the rest. I don't know which of the nights is my favorite. Which is yours? I just know that I had so much fun creating each of these sets. And I always have a lot of ideas and color combinations that I'm thinking about. And it's fun to play around with one set of colors on a bunch of different yarn bases. And I love that this series gets me the opportunity to do that. And to really point out, hey, this is when this really looks very different from what we had otherwise. I don't know if I've talked much in the blog about how I decided on the order of everything. And the only reason why the unraveled from night 2 is not present right here is because I just unraveled that one last night and finished filming the conclusions and soaked it. And so that is currently drying on my drying rack. I feel like a lot of years I might have a colorway like I did in 2 with like so many, like 5 different very distinct colorways. That might be the last night of the series, and so I wanted to mix that up. And the color mixing sometimes may go close to the beginning, and so I also wanted to mix that up. And since, especially with the blanks, I'm obsessed with the pop of rainbow color, I decided that that should be last this year. And so we've got, I think, a lot of exciting colorways, and I really hope that you guys are as excited as I am. Part of me wanted to lay the sock blanks out again, but also I already have them wrapped up and I'm hoping to ship things out tonight. Also, Ryder's about to have a friend come over and I'm like, I want to film all the voice stuff that I need to do before that happens. So the big thing I have to go do now is finish labeling the yarn because I already have like the yarn info labels, but I have to say that this is night 1 and I have those labels ready to go. Ta-da! I just have to peel and stick and make sure that I'm putting the right ones on the right set of minis. And then I'm going to go ahead and sort the minis by yarn base. Right now, everything is, well, mostly sorted by night, and I got to resort everything. Having everything sorted by base and size helps because then when I start pulling orders, I will go through and say, okay, everybody who has a Crazy 8 yarn base, so base A. And if they have like a bonus yarn mop, I grab all those to try to see if I can make sure that everyone gets things from different nights to the best of my ability. And then I kind of go down the line and, well, I mean, I start, the people who have the most items, I start there, but just to try to make sure, okay, there is this sock blank that I have left. I want to make sure they get a mini skein set from a different night. And if it's all in one order, I can do that. Sometimes people place multiple orders and I'm not always able to organize it if it's not all together, but that's what I try to do. And so having everything sorted like this really, 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 really helps. I'm intentionally keeping the background out of focus, but those are some orders that I've pulled. You could see that I'm pulling the yarn and the labels, and I'm doing all this before I wrap things. Just because there is a lot of variation with the yarn mops and I want to make sure that there is variety. So if you ordered a lot of things, you might see yours down there. And I have pulled all the most complicated orders, but I've not printed any shipping labels yet. And so I'm about to go start doing that because I don't have any more space to pull orders. But the other reason for doing this is like, one of the yarn bases that I'm running out of the first is like the Mermaid Sparkle mini skein sets. And what if the one that I have left, I only have a yarn mop or a sock blank just from that night remaining. And so I wanted to make sure that I have everything okay. So that way I don't need to shift things. So that way everyone can get as most variety as possible. That's the goal. That's always the goal. This is why editing an SMSMS or a Hanukkah video takes so much longer than something else. I am editing right now, and all of this is the footage for dip dyeing the full skein prototype for night 3 when I was color mixing. I can probably show something more interesting. That yarn, even though that's not the best view of it. I don't know if you noticed, there's almost 20 minutes of footage there. And ideally I want this to be like a 2-minute clip. 20 minutes of footage, this means that like this is usually the amount of footage as I would have for a normal episode of Dye Pot Weekly. Maybe I'll leave no dye behind. Like this small bit of the whole project is something that normally would be just a whole video in of itself. And I'm doing it for a time lapse here. And so I think that this video had, I didn't write it down. This video had about 2 hours of footage. Night 2 started with like 2.5 hours of footage. Although there was also a Leave No Dye Behind video that I had in with that footage. And so that removed 25 minutes or so from it. So it makes the actual creation of these videos pretty daunting. And then there's also the fact that I decide to film things out of order and do transitions and things after the fact. So for example, which I've labeled green, that is a note to myself to film some kind of transition talking head, so that way I can link up sections. This can become important when I'm doing something like, okay, here's me dyeing a whole sock blank, or here's me dyeing, this dip dyed prototype or whatever. Having those transitions can kind of bring back to, this is the point, this is what's going to happen next. Now that I know this, I can go do that. And sometimes it's hard to think about how it'll actually all piece together in the end. And so even though I have an idea, this means that if in like my thought about it, if I left something important out, like, I don't know, talking about the fiber type of the mini skeins or something, it gives me an opportunity to pop back in and say what I need to say. Whereas if it was a normal episode of Dye Pot Weekly and I realized I left something out, I would just pop in like with my phone with an editor's note, film it quickly, go and grab it from Google Photos where it uploads, and then pop it in. So that is some of what happens there. Oh man, it's June 3rd. I have not finished editing a single video yet, but I have done all the pre-edits and sorting on 2 of the 4 main videos. And the pre-edits and sorting is when not only am I taking all the footage and sort of grouping things that need to be grouped together in position, I am marking things that are voiceovers and removing the video from that. I am making time-lapse sequences when I know that there's a big time-lapse. And so then that is bringing, for, I guess, night 2, that brought 2.5 hours of footage down to maybe 50 minutes. I forget. I might be making these numbers up. But I know that when I go through and actually edit, that'll get cut down even more. But it makes the process when I'm ready to sit down and edit and make the notes of the talking heads I want to film and film those talking heads and finish everything, it's going to make that a lot easier. And so rather than just doing sort of one at a time, I'm like, listen, I'm having a bit of a CFS flare up. Let's put on some podcasts and do all these pre-edits to make my life easier. Also, I'm going to Go Fest in Chicago. I think I lost the night 3 sock blank footage. I gotta try to find the right SD card. This is why I never delete files off of my SD cards until the video is edited. But I am freaking out. And I'm burning my nervous energy by vlogging. I just went and I sorted all the footage. And I'm like, where's the sock blank? Okay, I found the footage that was already on my computer. It was in the SMSMS video for night 1. See, there's that blue. Phew! Still never delete raw files until the video's done. At least not off of the SD cards. Whew. I don't often talk a lot about the editing, but so here's something. A way that I signal to myself that something is supposed to be a voiceover, I change the resolution. So that way I can visually see as I go over. But in this section, here I'll play a little bit. More evenly saturated. But here are our prototype sets all twisted up. So I was going to go and twist these, which would take like 20, 30 minutes. Oh gosh, I don't know. Maybe not that long. 10 to 30 minutes. Who knows? It wouldn't be that long, but it would take some time. And I wanted to have a cohesive train of thought as I moved in to here from there. So what I do sometimes is I'll do it as a voiceover and then bring over this other footage, do some B-roll. Actually, I want to, sometimes the camera moves, so I'll move the first of that. But so that way I can seamlessly go from one clip to the next without forgetting what I was saying. The irony of me forgetting what I was saying when I was just about to include that is not lost on me. But sometimes, like, I will be starting the conclusions, and there's so much yarn in a series like this that I've realized, like, okay, I know what I want to say, and I don't think there's going to be something looking at it twisted that's going to be a lot bigger. But if I wait a day or even an hour to film the next part, I'm going to talk a lot more when we're going to have a lot of footage and a long video anyway. And so, yeah, this is just like a little thing that I do that makes life easier. I also very rarely when I'm doing voiceovers, like occasionally when I'm doing a voiceover, I will film it like during the editing process. Normally, I am most likely to film the voiceover before I actually film the time lapse. Occasionally, I'll film the voiceover after the time lapse, but I try to do it around the same time so that way my mindset of what is happening and when I'm learning and all that is very fresh. Otherwise, I might forget. But I do leave, for the talking heads I film after the fact for these big videos, I do leave a lot of audio notes to myself. Okay, I'm only halfway through editing the vlog, but my hair is now finally dry. Awesome. And I'm ready to go cheer on a Little League Finals game. So cross your fingers for me. Go Rockhounds. Well, we're going to have one more game. Championship game is on Sunday because double elimination. So we get one more try. But anyway, there's still a few more things I wanted to show. I realized I don't have any pictures or anything yet of the packaging. I've shown you the bags that I have. I've shown you the labels, but not the stitch markers. And they're really cute. One is a cool little sheep and one of them is, oh, I hesitate to call it a Lego. It's a fake Lego, but it's like a Lego building block. We're huge Lego fans over here. And I loved the idea of like things that can fit together and being able to put the progress keepers together in a little stack. So hopefully I might get some pictures that I can insert next to me talking about this. But I also want to make sure that I have a version of the video that is ready to export and upload for tomorrow. So that way, if there's any like YouTube hijinks or anything, that this vlog can premiere in less than 24 hours. I don't love being down to the wire. So again, hopefully there's some pictures I'm inserting, or maybe there'll even be a few more clips that'll show up after this. But I just want to thank you so much for supporting ChemKnits, me, the Spring Mini Skein mini series, and other events like this. It means so much to me. I love playing around with color and yarn and getting to share that. So please subscribe. This is the biggest thing you can do. Subscribing to the videos, commenting, reacting to them. All of that helps the algorithm, which I've mentioned before. It's ever changing and it's, I don't know, they're like content world's going through a transition and I'm just trying to keep plugging along here. So it really, really does help. Now, of course, it does look like the pre-order for stock blanks sold out, but when I start dyeing them, if I'm able to dye more than are available for the pre-orders from the Night 4 stock blanks, then I will restock that. So keep an eye out for that. But there is still a pre-order for the bonus mermaid colorway, and there are still some mini skein sets available. I have not yet updated the listing, so you can toggle which night for which yarn. But if there is one of the 4 nights you're particularly interested in, let me know and I can go check out what yarn bases I have it on. But yeah, I've never done this where I've exported a version of the video as like a just in case. But it's like 11 p.m. and so it's way past my bedtime. And yeah, I guess I'm just being real. And so I'm really looking forward to hanging out with all of you tomorrow night. And yeah, I guess we'll be back to regular programming next week. I am Rebecca from ChemKnits, and thank you so much for watching.